Hey everyone, Mystery Chronicles. Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into some of the most intriguing and mysterious stories from around the world. Please subscribe. The year 1968. The place, California. A time of change and unrest gripped the nation, but beneath the surface of optimism, a darkness began to stir. Newspapers, once filled with stories of peace and love, now bore chilling headlines. They spoke of a killer, one who stalked the night and left a trail of blood and terror in his wake. This wasn't just any killer. This was the beginning of the Zodiac. California, known for its sunshine and golden dreams, found itself shrouded in fear. The idyllic image of the Golden State was shattered, replaced by the grim specter of unsolved murders and a killer who seemed to vanish like a ghost. The feeling of unease permeated everyday life, casting a long shadow over the once carefree spirit of the state. Whispers of the Zodiac killer spread like wildfire, carried on the winds of fear and uncertainty. His name, a chilling moniker chosen by the killer himself, became synonymous with evil and mystery. No one knew who he was, where he would strike next, or why he was terrorizing innocent people. The very air seemed to crackle with tension as the body count rose. Every shadowed corner seemed to hold a potential threat. The Zodiac killer had not only claimed the lives of his victims, but he had also stolen the sense of security and peace from an entire state. The hunt was on, but it seemed like chasing a phantom. The Zodiac killer wasn't content with just taking lives. He craved notoriety, recognition for his gruesome acts. He wanted the world to know his name and tremble in fear. His method of communication: letters, handwritten, chilling letters sent directly to newspapers, taunting the police and terrorizing the public. These weren't just any letters. They were filled with chilling details of the murders, details only the killer could know. They were sprinkled with strange symbols and cryptic messages, codes he claimed held the key to his identity. With each letter, the Zodiac tightened his grip on the public consciousness. Newspapers, caught between informing the public and potentially aiding a madman, grappled with the ethical dilemma. Zodiac's letters were front-page news, each one dissected and analyzed by both amateur sleuths and seasoned investigators. The public was captivated, horrified, and desperate for answers. The letters were more than just a way for the killer to communicate. They were a twisted game, a macabre puzzle he was forcing the world to play. And at the heart of this gruesome puzzle lay a terrifying question: could he be stopped before he killed again? The Zodiac's letters weren't just filled with chilling confessions and boasts. They were also riddled with ciphers, complex codes the killer claimed held a key to his identity. These weren't simple puzzles. They were intricate, frustrating, and seemingly unbreakable. The ciphers became an obsession for many, a tantalizing puzzle box that seemed to hold the answer to stopping the killer. People from all walks of life, from mathematicians to armchair detectives, dedicated themselves to cracking the codes, hoping to find a clue, any clue, that could lead to the Zodiac's capture. The ciphers added another layer of complexity to an already baffling case, they were a constant reminder of the killer's intelligence, his ability to stay one step ahead of the authorities. The longer they remained unsolved, the more the public's fear and fascination grew. The Zodiac had, it seemed, created the ultimate challenge, a deadly game of cat and mouse, played out on a public stage. The stakes were incredibly high. Lives were on the line. The world watched, waited, and hoped for the day the puzzle would be solved, and the reign of terror would finally end. The winter air hung heavy with silence, broken only by the distant sound of cars on the highway. It was a Friday night, a time for young couples to steal away for moments of privacy at a secluded spot on Lake Herman Road, just outside of Berryessa, California. Two teenagers, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, sought refuge in the darkness. Little did they know, they were stepping into a nightmare. The peace of the evening was shattered by the roar of an engine and the blinding glare of headlights. A car pulled up behind them, its intentions unclear. Fear, sharp and sudden, gripped the young couple as a stranger approached their car. What happened next would forever be etched in the annals of true crime. David Faraday, just 17 years old and on the cusp of manhood, was found lifeless, a bullet wound to the head. Betty Lou Jensen, a year younger and full of life, lay nearby, her body riddled with bullets. The killer had acted swiftly and brutally, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable horror. The news of the murders spread like wildfire through the small community, leaving behind a trail of shock and grief. Who could commit such a heinous act? What dark force had descended upon their peaceful town? Little did they know, this was just the beginning, the first terrifying act in a series of brutal crimes that would captivate and terrify the nation. July 5th, 1969, terror strikes at Blue Rock Springs Park. 6 months had passed since the murders on Lake Herman Road. The wounds, both physical and emotional, were still raw. The memory of the young victims still fresh in the minds of the community. The killer, however, remained a phantom, a whisper in the night, leaving investigators grasping at shadows. On the 4th of July, fireworks lit up the California sky, celebrating freedom and independence. Yet, a palpable sense of unease lingered in the air. The following night, July 5th, at Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo, another young couple, Darlene Farron and Michael Mageau, became the target of a terrifying attack. As Darlene and Michael sat in their car, enjoying the quiet of the evening, a car pulled up alongside them. A blinding light momentarily illuminated the attacker's face before shots rang out, shattering the stillness of the night. Darlene, 22 years old and full of life, was fatally wounded. Michael, 19, and clinging to life, managed to survive the attack, providing investigators with a chilling description of the assailant. The details were vague, the image blurred by fear and pain, but it was something, a flicker of light in the overwhelming darkness. The Zodiac had struck again, leaving behind another trail of blood and terror. September 27th, 1969. A day of horror at Lake Berryessa. Summer was drawing to a close, the days growing shorter, and the nights colder. At Lake Berryessa, the Zodiac struck again with chilling theatricality. Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell were approached by a man in a bizarre costume. He wore a hooded executioner's mask, brandishing a gun. The man bound and stabbed them, leaving a chilling message. Miraculously, Brian survived, providing a crucial eyewitness account. August 1st, 1969. A sweltering summer day in San Francisco was about to take a sinister turn. 3 major newspapers received identical, chilling letters. The letters claimed responsibility for recent shootings. The author demanded his words be printed on the front page, signed with a chilling symbol, a crossed circle. Fear gripped the city as the news spread. The Zodiac craved recognition and infamy. He wanted the world to tremble in fear. The Zodiac's letters were terrifying and baffling, filled with cryptic symbols and codes. The 48-character cipher, sent to the San Francisco Chronicle in 1969, became an obsession. A high school teacher and his wife cracked the code, revealing a chilling message, yet it offered no clues to the killer's identity or motive. Who was the Zodiac, and why did he commit these heinous acts? Section 3, A Taunting Confession. The Case of Paul Stine. On October 11th, 1969, Paul Stine, a cab driver, was murdered by the Zodiac. At Washington and Cherry Streets, a passenger shot Stine and vanished into the fog. Witnesses saw the killer wipe down the cab door and walk away. Days later, the Zodiac sent a letter to police confessing to the murder. The letter included a piece of Stine's blood-soaked shirt tail. The Zodiac taunted the police, claiming control over the city. Section 4. The Game of Cat and Mouse. The Zodiac's elusive nature. The Zodiac killer toyed with authorities, sending cryptic letters and taunting police. His symbol, a crossed circle, became infamous. Despite efforts, he remained elusive. A ghost story in California history. The Shadow of Suspicion. Arthur Leigh Allen in the Weight of Circumstantial Evidence. Arthur Leigh Allen, a former teacher with a dark past, became the prime suspect in the Zodiac case. Disturbing details. Fired for misconduct, fascination with weapons, and owning a Zodiac watch. Despite compelling circumstantial evidence, DNA testing failed to conclusively link him. Allen's death left the case unresolved, his shadow lingering over the Zodiac mystery. False leads and dead ends, the frustrating search for a break in the case. The Zodiac investigation was a maze of false leads and dead ends. Mysterious calls and coded messages led nowhere. The killer stayed ahead, leaving a trail of confusion. The case faded, unsolved, a testament to the Zodiac's elusiveness. The case that wouldn't die, renewed hope, and modern investigative techniques. New technologies like DNA analysis offered hope. Forensic scientists re-examined evidence, seeking a breakthrough. Familial DNA and genetic genealogy provided new leads. The Zodiac case became a testing ground for modern techniques, keeping hope alive. Section 4. The Devil. We know. Exploring the psychology of a killer, the Zodiac's letters and crimes offer a glimpse into a disturbed mind. Craving attention, he manipulated and instilled fear. His choice of victims and use of ciphers showed a need for control. The Zodiac remains a chilling figure, a study in criminal psychology. Section 5. A legacy of terror. The Zodiac's enduring impact on criminal profiling. The case advanced forensic science and criminal profiling. The Zodiac's behavior provided valuable psychological data. It highlighted the need for better communication between agencies. The Zodiac's legacy continues to influence law enforcement. Section 1. Living in fear. The Zodiac's grip on the public psyche. The Zodiac turned California's dream into a nightmare. Everyday activities became tinged with fear. Gun sales soared, and people fortified their homes. The Zodiac became a national symbol of fear and vulnerability. The Zodiac killer case wasn't just a tragedy. It was a wake-up call for law enforcement. It exposed the need for new investigative strategies. The Zodiac's behavior provided a wealth of psychological data. The case underscored the importance of forensic science. It led to improved communication and collaboration between agencies. Section 3. The never-ending story. The Zodiac's cultural impact and enduring fascination. The Zodiac remains a part of the cultural lexicon. The unsolved mystery fuels public imagination. His letters offer a glimpse into a dark mind. The legend of the Zodiac endures, a chilling reminder of unresolved fear. The Zodiac case today. Decades have passed since the Zodiac killer terrorized California. Time has washed away many things, but not the mystery of the Zodiac. The case remains a cold case, a puzzle with missing pieces. Law enforcement has never entirely given up. Every few years, a new lead sends a ripple through the community. The files, though dusty, are not forgotten. DNA technology offers the possibility of a match. The Zodiac remains a phantom, his identity shrouded in mystery, but hope flickers still. Section 2. Ghosts of the Past, Echoes of the Future, the Zodiac's influence on true crime. The Zodiac killer haunts the public imagination, his shadow looming large over true crime. He is the archetype of the enigmatic serial killer, the master manipulator who vanished. His story, a blend of fact and mystery, inspires and cautions storytellers and investigators. True crime now enjoys a prominent place in mainstream media. Documentaries, podcasts, and streaming series dissecting real-life crimes have exploded in popularity. The Zodiac case, with its enduring mystery, adds new layers of analysis and speculation. Beyond entertainment, the Zodiac case has impacted criminal justice. Law enforcement, marked by the Zodiac's evasion, has advanced in forensic science and profiling. The Zodiac became a catalyst for change, forcing law enforcement to evolve. The Zodiac's legacy is a blend of fear, fascination, and the power of the unknown. He remains a cautionary tale about the dark potential within ordinary individuals. The Zodiac's story, though unfinished, reminds us that some mysteries linger, challenging us to seek answers and confront our fears. Section 3, A Haunting Legacy, The Unanswered. Questions that linger. The Zodiac case, like an unsolved riddle, continues to tantalize and torment. It is a story without an ending, a symphony with an unresolved final chord. The passage of time has done little to diminish the haunting power of the unanswered questions. Who was the Zodiac? A cunning mastermind or a disturbed individual? Was he a shadowy figure, or did he lead a seemingly normal life? What motivated his reign of terror? A lust for power or a desire to instill fear? These questions, like whispers in the night, continue to haunt us. They remind us of the fragility of peace and the enduring power of mystery. The Zodiac case compels us to confront the unsettling truth that some questions may never have answers.